So I just hit a month using the Xiaomi Mi 11, and I gotta say, I have a lot of things to talk about with this particular device. So today, we're gonna go ahead and give it the review treatment after 1 full month of usage. But first, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, this is Ike's Tech Talk, where we cover the latest in tech news, reviews, and discussion. If that's something that you're interested in, do yourself a favor, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And with that being said, let's get into the review. To kick things off, we're gonna talk design and the display on the Xiaomi Mi 11. So when talking about the design, it's easy to see that this is probably one of the best designed phones so far in 2021. You have that frosted glass back in this horizon blue colorway that looks absolutely fantastic in the sun. You're also looking at the super bezel-less front screen with just that one pinhole protrusion in the display. And on top of all of that, each of the corners of that display is curved. So not just the two sides, but the top and the bottom. Now, where this comes into play is when you're using Android's native gestures. Overall, they just feel more seamless to use day to day instead of swiping against flat glass. Speaking of that display, you're looking at a 120 Hz Quad HD panel with a touch sampling rate of 480 Hz. Now, you don't have to know what any of this means. All you need to know is using this device, whether you're scrolling through your Twitter feed or opening and closing applications, is gonna give you an extremely buttery experience from start to finish. Xiaomi has also done some things on the software side to make the screen and the animations really feel like one instead of two separate parts. Anything that you do on this display is absolutely gonna be super fluid. In terms of brightness, I was again surprised by the Mi 11. No matter what condition, super bright outdoors here in Orlando, Florida, the Mi 11 did fantastically. I'm not sure exactly where the peak brightness stands in terms of nits. Only thing I can say is that I had absolutely no issues seeing this beautiful screen and bright sunlight. No matter what you're doing, whether that's watching YouTube or movies or playing games, you're gonna be in for a treat whenever you open and unlock this display. Now, switching gears and speaking about performance, the Mi 11 absolutely killed it. Now, it's gonna be rare to find any smartphone with a Snapdragon 888 and at least 8 GB of RAM really stutter or falter whatever application you throw at it, but most phones with that processor is having issues in the heating department. Multiple flagship phones this year have had issues with overheating and throttling of performance and things of that nature. The Mi 11 absolutely did not have any of those issues. It ran like a beast through and through. Even out in the hot Orlando sun, I had no issues with performance down throttling or any type of warning messages or the phone powering off. Nothing of the sort. The Xiaomi Mi 11 handled it like an absolute champ. Now, being as though this is an imported device, a lot of you may be wondering about the performance of the connectivity. So when it comes to connectivity, the Xiaomi Mi 11 is missing the Band 71, which T-Mobile does take advantage of for a certain flavor of its LTE as well as 5G. So unfortunately, in my area, I couldn't get 5G on this particular device at all. I did have to default to using LTE. Now, while the speeds weren't as fast as what I'm normally used to on my other devices, it was more than suitable to get the job done. I didn't find myself waiting for a web page to load or anything of the sort. The Xiaomi Mi 11 definitely did great. However, it would have been nice to see those faster LTE speeds and maybe be able to try out 5G, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Next up in terms of performance, I want to draw your attention to the fingerprint sensor. Now, while the fingerprint sensor was definitely never slow, I did feel as though there was a delay with how fast it unlocked. Now, what I'm attributing this to mostly is just to the animation. A lot of the animations in MIUI are really drawn out and sometimes a little bit slower than what you may be used to, even though they're super fluid. The fingerprint scanner is definitely one of those animations. The one thing I did like about the fingerprint sensor though was whenever you do use it, you get this haptic feedback, almost like it's counting down to where it's about to unlock the device. It felt really cool and really futuristic, as it felt like there was some type of mechanical part inside the device that was actually scanning my fingerprint rather than it just verifying my fingerprint with a non-3D scan. Speaking of haptics, this phone has to have some of the best haptics that I've ever used on Android. Everything felt super precise and super punchy. None of my vibrations felt mushy or forced or anything like that. In terms of haptics, I would definitely rate it as somewhere extremely close, if not on the same level as say like the iPhone, which is praised for its haptics. Xiaomi absolutely killed it with the haptics on this device. Now let's change focus and switch over to the camera. Yes, pun intended. The camera on the Xiaomi Mi 11 did really well. Now I have a dedicated camera review that I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I link down in the description. So if you're really curious about the shots that you can get with the Mi 11, you can go ahead and check out that full video. I test the camera in all areas, so you'll be able to see exactly what you can expect in regards to quality. To make a long story short, you're gonna get some fantastic photos and videos out of the Xiaomi Mi 11. There were a few areas that I do want Xiaomi to improve, either through software or through the next model of the Xiaomi Mi 11. So, in terms of the selfie camera, the fact that in 2021 I still have this caliber of flagship smartphone limited to 1080p 60 on the front-facing camera is honestly a crime at this point. It needs to be 4K. Xiaomi, get on top of that. In terms of video in low light, now having that 108 megapixel sensor, I didn't think that video in low light would struggle at all. However, I did notice some warping and just overall lack of stabilization when shooting in low light. I'm not sure what it's attributed to, but having used the iPhone 12 Pro Max as my primary device, I gotta say, at least in the video department, Xiaomi, you definitely have to make sure that you step up your game just a bit when it comes to that. Last but not least, is gonna be the colors whenever you're taking photos. So when taking photos with the Xiaomi Mi 11, you're getting crisp, sharp photos with a ton of detail. However, like I stated in my camera review, the one area that I would like Xiaomi to improve is the way that the colors look. In my opinion, they were just a bit oversaturated for my taste, to where they almost seem like old day Samsung, where some of the colors used to come off a bit cartoonish. I particularly don't like that, and of course you can edit them in post, but I'd like to see Xiaomi tune it down just a bit natively in the camera. Now to go ahead and get into the battery on the Mi 11. So you're gonna notice that first thing, my shirt is obviously different than the rest of this video. That's because I ran into an issue with the Mi 11 and I needed to re-record this section to give you guys a proper analysis of the battery life on this particular phone. So what I was running into is the screen on time status kind of countdown would restart itself essentially. So I looked at it, it was like 2.5 hours of screen on time, something like that. And then it just randomly restarted itself and it started counting over again. I have no idea if it's just my particular device, something with MIUI. Obviously, as I get more information, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. So what I'm gonna do for this particular review is, instead of looking at screen on time, as that's not the only definitive factor when it comes to battery life on a smartphone anyway, I'm just gonna give you guys kind of a quick run through of my day, and then I'm gonna tell you guys how this particular phone ran its course during the day. So normally I wake up at 7 a.m. for work. While I'm at work, I have about 4 different emails, pulling emails down. I'm scrolling through social media. I know, definitely should be focused on work, but scrolling through social media, watching a ton of YouTube, and I'm using a ton of Microsoft Teams on this particular device. after I finish my workday, I normally take about an hour and a half to 2 hour walk with the kids. At that point, I'm streaming Spotify over cellular to Bluetooth headphones, and I'm playing a ton of Pokemon Go. So really taxing on the battery. Now, and for this particular device, I took it off the charger again, 7 a.m. like normal at 100% charge, and I didn't find myself needing to put it back on the charger until about roughly 7:30 to 8 o'clock normally. It fluctuated in between there, but in my opinion, that's definitely solid battery life for this particular device. Now, it's definitely not the best, as I have been able to get longer lasting batteries out of, say, the Pixel 5 when I had that phone, and my iPhone 12 Pro Max, which I still do own. However, the fact that it can not only get me through my entire workday, it'll still have a little bit of juice left over after the fact is definitely suitable. But the one area where Xiaomi strikes back in terms of the battery is the charging. Now, I'll be 100% transparent with you all. I haven't had a chance to try out the super fast wired or wireless charging just yet, mostly due to the fact that wait times on those chargers are about 3 weeks to 2 months. So it'd take me quite some time to get one. If you want to see more content in terms of the fast charger, definitely leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that like button while you're headed down there. But the super fast charging on the Xiaomi Mi 11 offers 55-watt wired charging and 50-watt wireless charging. This is an absolute game changer when you look at the fact that you can literally fully charge your device in just about 30 minutes. You never have to charge your device overnight ever again with this type of battery charging features. So other manufacturers, I'm begging you, add this level of battery charging tech. Now, it doesn't have to be the extremes that Xiaomi has, but at least 45, at least. Please, just add it to your devices across the board. Now, lastly, I want to get into software. Now, MIUI is definitely something special. I'll be the first person to admit it is heavily inspired by iOS, and in my opinion, as someone who uses Apple devices, including an iPhone, I'm not mad at that one bit at all. A lot of the likeness to iOS, meaning like the lack of app drawer, things like that, all of that can be reverted to the normal Android experience if you choose to go that route. So you definitely have the option to use your phone whichever way you see fit. Now, in terms of MIUI specifically, I'll go on the record to say I've never felt an Android skin feel this responsive and this fluid. Yes, that is including my Pixel as well. Everything that I did on this phone, from every single gesture to every app interaction to scrolling through social media to playing games, was literally buttery smooth. Now again, this does have some attribute to the 120 Hz display, but just having 120 Hz doesn't tell the entire story. You have plenty of other Android manufacturers who have 120 Hz and it doesn't feel this smooth or this responsive. Xiaomi also adds in plenty of additional little software features and just little software actions that make the operating system feel so much more alive. Take a look at this example here with the clock. As you move from home screen to home screen, if you don't have a clock widget on a particular home screen, the clock will shift upwards into the status bar as you move between your home screens. This particular feature was just really cool and really fun to play around with. It's the small things, in my opinion, that count the absolute most. In terms of bigger forward-facing features, you have things like floating windows, second space, which second space is literally the same thing as Samsung Secure Folder, but literally on steroids. You can literally have essentially 2 devices on one phone. Imagine having your personal home screen layout or personal home screen phone, and then you switch over to your second space and you have that set up just for your work purposes. I found this concept to be super intuitive, and once I set it up and actually started using it, it pondered my mind, like, why don't more manufacturers use these particular features? Having just a place to hide hidden photos and hidden applications is just not enough. Having an entire second device on the same smartphone is truly game changing. And the special features don't stop there. You get dedicated features like the Mi Remote, which takes advantage of the IR blaster in the Xiaomi Mi 11, an AirDrop type of alternative called Xiaomi that Xiaomi uses between any Android device. And on top of that, you get known features from, say, like Samsung, like the enhanced multi-window as well as floating window applications. Xiaomi really put it all in this device, and the features are put in a way where if you need them, you can go and find them, they're there. But if you never want to use them or never want to see them, they're tucked away nicely and you never have to worry about tripping something or turning something on by accident. Xiaomi really killed it when it came to the software experience on the Xiaomi Mi 11. So guys, that's the Xiaomi Mi 11, a truly competitive flagship device that the more I used it, the more it made me upset that smartphones like this aren't sitting on carrier shelves. But at the end of the day, if you can get your hands on one of these, definitely pick it up, give it a chance. I think you'll be thoroughly impressed with the phone that you get. But that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. As always, this is Ike's Tech Talk. Thank you as always so much for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.